What's up, guys? Welcome in to the Red Friday live chat. I'm Farzin Vasugian. Happy Red Friday to all of you. The last Red Friday of October. Is that right? The last Friday. Yeah, the next time we do a Red Friday live chat, it will be November. Okay. All right. How about that? Chiefs 6-0 and looking to remain undefeated as they go on the road in Las Vegas to play the hapless Raiders. How fun is that? How are you guys feeling on this Red Friday? Listen, this is probably an exciting time to be a Chiefs fan with the record being the only unbeaten team in the NFL, getting DeAndre Hopkins. And, you know, I was wrong about this. I wasn't sure how much he'd play. It sounds like he's going to play a lot. Sounds like he's going to play a lot this week. And Juju, you know, he's dealing with a hamstring injury. That's not the worst injury in the world to have right now. Never a good time to have an injury. Never a good thing to have an injury. But all things considered, with what the Chiefs have gone through this year, this is probably one of the least worst things that could happen to the Chiefs. So once Juju comes back, I'm excited to see what this offense is going to look like with D-Hop, Juju, Xavier Worthy. Hollywood Brown is expected to come back for the playoffs. I could only imagine what this offense would look like if they had Rashi Rice. So Pacheco will come back in a month, maybe a month and a half. So this is looking pretty good right now for the Chiefs. And again, they're 6-0 right now. And by the way, they've got a 2-game lead in the conference, which is absolutely huge. When you look at the standings right now across the board, Kansas City, obviously the only undefeated team in the league. But when you're looking around the rest of the conference here, and forget about the NFC, obviously the Vikings, they were the only undefeated team, but they just dropped 2 in a row. In fact, with their seeding, they're very low. Where are they right now? Yeah, they went from 1 to 5, and they've lost 2 games in 5 days. The only one-loss team in the league is Detroit, and obviously that's not a team that you're really competing against. Maybe the only time you'll see them is possibly the Super Bowl. So this Chiefs team right now, looking at the AFC just in general, 6-0 on the season. And then the next best teams in the conference, you have the Texans, you have the Ravens, and the Bills all at 5-2. The Steelers also at 5-2. And you play all of those teams this year. And for people who want to keep saying, "Oh, the Chiefs have an easy schedule," no, nothing's easy about the schedule this year for the Chiefs. And you look at the teams that they've played. They beat the Ravens already. Again, the third best team in the AFC. Record wise, the Chargers they've already defeated, and that was one where they probably had the most adversity. The Rice injury early, 2 very early turnovers, the 10-0 start, and they didn't allow a single point the rest of the game. So they beat them. They beat the Bengals, who've got the 9 seed right now. On the NFC side, maybe the competition not as big this year for the Chiefs from the NFC side because they're playing NFC South teams. But still, you know, the Saints, they looked dangerous early on in the season. Now they're one of the worst teams in the NFL, but you know, at the time, people thought the Saints could maybe bounce back against the Chiefs. Beat them. You beat the Falcons, who've looked good and really good, actually, in some of their games this season. And the Chiefs went out there and beat them. And then for people who want to make a big deal about the pass interference missed call, well, the Falcons got a chance when they got the ball back. And on 4th and inches, they run maybe the worst play you could possibly run, the worst running play you could have called. You would have been better off doing play action in that situation. And they lose 4 yards on 4th and inches with the game on the line. So it's not like the Chiefs are playing worms on their schedule. They're playing some really good football teams and beating them, obviously. San Francisco, yeah, I know their record may not indicate it, but that's a team you can never really write off. I would not be surprised if San Francisco can do what the Bills did last year and go on a very strong run to end the season during the second half of the football year and find a way to sneak into the playoffs. Would not surprise me one bit here. Okay, I see you guys commenting already. If you guys haven't done so already, please comment, say hello, say what's up. and ask whatever question you got. Comment, question, whatever's on your mind. Obviously, we're doing this early today. So for those who like the Red Friday live show, but you don't like it during the day, or you missed out, or you didn't know, I've said it several times during the week. But second week in a row, I do have a scheduling conflict. So we do have to do the Red Friday live chat much earlier this week. So with that, I don't really have a whole lot of comments. I mean, I've said a lot of things this week. So I'm going to turn it over to you guys. I'll keep my monologue and all that stuff pretty short. Let's go to you guys. So comments, questions, reading all of that right now, starting with Perez here. I feel like McCole is going to play a lot as well. Yeah, listen, I've been on the McCole Hardman train, but I've also been the one who's also called him out and has said, look, his progress has not been up to speed. He hasn't progressed well. This guy might have top 5 skill set in the NFL, but we haven't seen it come to fruition. Listen, we were told the same thing about Sky Moore, who, since we last talked, he was been placed on IR. Make what you want about that. But with McCole, it's like the guy can run. He can run routes. And once he has the ball in his hand in open space, dude, that guy can destroy a defense. If he's in open space with the football and there's only one defender there to stop him, I'll put my money on McCole to find a way to throw him off balance, at the very least, be able to get a few extra yards on that defender. But then you have moments like the AFC Championship game against the Bills where he fumbled the punt return, but then he bounced back when after the return where he had a touchdown catch, and then on the next drive, he had a 50-yard run. The Bills game last year in the playoffs, 2 handoffs from the 1-yard line, and both of them he fumbled. One of them went into the end zone for a touchback. So it's just frustrating with McCole Hardman sometimes because he does have the skill set there, but sometimes it just you don't know what to expect from McCole Hardman sometimes. The remaining 72 Dolphins players watching the Chiefs games, yes, they'll be watching very closely. You know, you don't ever hear much about the 72 Dolphins. I mean, it gets brought up when you have a team that's been unbeaten, 7, 8, 9 weeks. But man, the Patriots, when they had their undefeated streak going, their quest for perfection in 2007, dude, there were a lot of 72 Dolphins players who had a lot of things to say about that team. A lot of things to say about that team. Dude, they were thrilled. Didn't Eli Manning do a commercial with one of the 72 Dolphins players after the Giants beat the Patriots? I feel like that happened. It's a long time ago. It's been more than a decade. So I can't recall. Jason asks, what does Jawan Taylor's contract restructure mean for years? We don't have those details yet. Let me see if anything has come out in the last hour. Jawan Taylor, because I saw from Charles Goldman there, they have anywhere from $5 million to $9 million in cap room. That's kind of a big spread there. They're saying it's freeing up $5.3 million in cap room. So, I mean, what did the Chiefs have with the DeAndre Hopkins situation? $2.5 million? Because I mean, it was $4.9 million, but let's just say $5 million. So you go to 2.5, you're freeing up $5.3 million. So I would guess this is going to be close to somewhere between $7 million to $7.5 million. I think that's what the Chiefs have in terms of cap room. Now, what could they do with that? I'm seeing a lot of speculation out there about Marshawn Lattimore. I'm not 100% certain that would be done. Here's the one thing to keep in mind with the salary cap right now. If you're the Chiefs, you have to have room to be able to get guys, because let's say someone gets hurt, which unfortunately is part of the sport. It's been more of a thing this year for the Chiefs, but I digress. They got to either sign someone off the street or elevate someone from the practice squad who's going to essentially make more money, or in addition to that, the practice squad promotion, you got to sign someone off the street into your practice squad. So what did they do last week when Deshaun Watson got hurt? The Browns got Bailey Zappi from the Chiefs. What did the Chiefs do to replace him? They got Chris Oladokun from the street back to Kansas City on the practice squad. So would not, I mean, listen, we're not even at the halfway point. So there will be at least one more move with the practice squad, definitely more than one more move. So they got to have money for that as well. Could they still do both where they spend a little bit of money to get someone and try to reserve enough money for practice squad players? Yeah, perhaps. I'm talking injuries with the main roster and all that. So I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do. I personally think they like what they have at the quarterback position with Josh Williams and Najee Johnson, alongside Trent McDuffie. Of course, Roland Johnson obviously looked good. Jaden Hicks looking good. Shamari Connor playing well. So I think they like who they. As long as you have a strong pass rush, I think you'll be fine. I'd be very curious if the Chiefs make a move for an offensive tackle. That is what they need more than anything else right now. What could they do with that kind of money? I don't know. Because again, you got to keep some of it for later in the season. Melinda says, surprised more people haven't talked about how solid he was last week. Who are you referring to? McCole Hardman? Because I'm just getting your question now, so I don't know exactly who you're referring to, Melinda. Steve says the Chiefs need to dominate the Raiders, run up the score, no mercy, to make a statement to the NFL. Listen, I saw Jack Jones, the cornerback, who got a pick 6 against the Chiefs. And he did an interview with someone in the locker room. He said, no one in this locker room is intimidated by Patrick Mahomes. Well, good. No one should be intimidated. You're in the NFL. No one should be intimidated by anyone. Now, he did acknowledge, okay, well, there were some things said in the offseason and in camp. Yeah, I mean, those things are not forgotten about. We are in a social media era where, you have people who do interviews and podcasts and they say things. Obviously, fans film certain things with the puppet video. And it wasn't really so much the Kermit the Frog part. It was the fact that, you have a rookie who's not even played a game yet at the time. He has now. But he's calling Patrick Mahomes a bitch. And then you have Antonio Pierce going on Max Crosby's podcast. Oh, well, we have the recipe. Yeah, you have the recipe. You had 7 of the greatest seconds that the Raiders have had in their last 21 years during their playoff drought. And that is how you beat the Chiefs. So good luck doing that for the second time in a row, because that's not happening. The Chiefs had all kinds of issues on offense last year, and you're relying on that to be the case again. That's the recipe. That's the secret recipe. That's the secret sauce to winning. Dude, I'm telling you right now, we're not very forgiving as a society when things don't age well. When people do a lot of talking and when they don't own up, they don't back it up, people are going to call it out. Look at the Bengals. They do the whole Burrowhead crap, and the mayor was doing his thing. How many times have the Chiefs beat the Bengals since then? Every single time they've met since all of those comments were made. And then even this year, doing all the talking they do, it's like, dude, you guys are a one-win team. Shut up. You guys, as Shannon Sharp said it best, you guys should not be talking. Now, if you've noticed, the Bengals have not been talking much lately, and they're winning more. Imagine that. How does that work? You guys tell me. What do I know? So yeah, listen, very well the Chiefs, they're coming into this game not thrilled. I saw Chris Jones with a cryptic tweet or Instagram post. Justin Reed, the week of the puppet video, he posted on his story of him hitting a Raiders player during a play, and he put the caption. He said, this game just got more interesting. Yeah. You want to go ahead and resort to trash talking is one thing. Saying you can beat this team, that's one thing. Though it's still going to get called out if you don't back it up. But the name calling thing, yeah, okay. People are going to take that personally. Always a grown ass man calling another grown ass man a bitch. Yeah, that's going to get called out 1,000%. How long will Juju be out for? We don't know. Listen, it's a hamstring injury, so I don't anticipate it to be much longer. I think he comes back for the Bucks game, but if he doesn't play in that game, I think he'll certainly be back for the Buffalo game, because Buffalo is right after Tampa, if I recall correctly. Which, by the way, Pete Prisco, he did a video on CBS Sports, and he talked about the Chiefs possibly going undefeated. He mentioned that the only tough game remaining on Kansas City's schedule is Buffalo, and if the Chiefs can continue, he expects them to beat the Raiders and the Bucks, and he thinks the Buffalo Bills is the only tough game left on their schedule. And he said that if they can win that game, they can go undefeated if they want to. Here's my question to you guys. And no wrong answer here, but I really do want to know. I want everyone's input on this one. Do you care about going undefeated this season? Because I really don't. If it happens, cool. But I'm not looking for an undefeated season. Yeah, sure, it'd be a nice way to cap off the three-peat. You can make history. You can do double the amount of history, I guess, going undefeated while three-peating, which neither one has been done before. Especially in more games you do outside of the 72 Dolphins. But I'm not, listen, let's just say the Chiefs are 13-0, okay? If they go 13-0, and let me just pull up the schedule just to be certain here, because if they're 13-0, they would have already played the Texans. Am I right? No, they will play Houston in their third to last game. Wait a minute. No, I keep forgetting. We have 14 games. So no, if they are 13-0, okay, if they're 13-0, that means they're playing Cleveland next. So they still have Houston and Pittsburgh remaining on the schedule. They're both 5-2 right now. Yeah, look, Houston and Pittsburgh are going to be big games. And by the way, the Chiefs are not going to go undefeated. And if they do, let's say they have the number one seed wrapped up before the Houston game, rest the starters. Now, I'm not suggesting rest them completely. I don't think you can go from December 21st to the middle of January and not play a single game. You gotta, there will be some rust there if you do that. That'd be a big fear of mine. I would say treat it like a preseason game. Let the starters go out there for a little bit, for a drive or two, and then you take them off. And then for that week 18 game, you don't play. But again, I don't anticipate that to be the case. I'm just saying, some people are bringing that up in the national media. Wish we got rid of more of Taylor's contract. Yeah. By the way, keep one thing in mind. He's not taking less money. He simply converted that to a signing bonus. So he gets that money still. It's just going to come via a bonus. Yeah, Hollywood Brown coming back is going to be huge if everyone can stay healthy, which big if, unfortunately. It's been that kind of year, you guys. Perez says exactly. I think it's the time to show up or show out with everyone out right now. He was returning and receiving last week. Yeah. He's been and look, I thought Sky Moore was going to get more involved even with the Hopkins signing, but obviously the Chiefs decided that he was going to be the odd man out, putting him on IR, which, I don't think anyone's complaining about that. But yeah, you do have guys like Justin Watson and McCole Hardman who haven't played much this year and are going to play a lot more this season now. The 72 Dolphins, 17-0. They went 13-0, I believe. Yeah, I think they went 13-0. 10-0 in the regular season, and I think they won 3 games in the playoffs. So restructuring that contract, hopefully a corner. Not only did we have no answer, the Snead replacement, but now Watson, sir. Well, I think Watson's been playing well. I don't think at the same level as L'Jarius Snead, but still playing very well. By the way, speaking of Snead, he also had a cryptic tweet after the Hopkins trade. He was like, funny business, but then he went on to delete the tweet. Okay. Oh, well, I appreciate you, Teresa. The Red Friday Live chat, priority over the groceries. The groceries can always wait on a Friday. No, in all seriousness, I do appreciate you making time to tune in, Teresa. That means a lot. Yes, happy Red Friday to all of you guys. You see, this is the thing. I don't know. I think they've got to make sure they have enough to sign more players later in the season because more injuries will occur. That's just the nature of the sport, especially as the season goes on. Patrick Mahomes has never started off the season 6-0 with the Chiefs until now. Yep, that is true. And he's having his worst season statistically doing it. So that's even funnier. I just love all the people who complain about like the officiating. And by the way, I thought it was funny last night and I don't think this would have changed the game much. But still, it should have been called. But the face mask that was missed on the Vikings on Sam Darnold when the Rams Rams pass rusher went in there for the sack in the end zone for a safety. Dude, people were like, I know I made a facetious joke saying, oh, imagine if that was Kansas City. But people were still like, oh, if that was Mahomes, that would have been called. Really? Did you not see the hit on the throat last week? Some people are weird about that. Really, really weird. I want to see Matt Ariza punt that puppet out of the stadium. Yeah, dude, I guarantee you, there's going to be one Chiefs player that's going to do this as a celebration. It's going to happen. Write it down. I'm putting that on the bingo board for Sunday morning. Be ready for it. The whole Sky Moore injury is kind of fishy. What do you think? Well, I mean, it's 100% reminiscent of what Kadarius Toney went through. I mean, that is 100% what's going on. It's either, hey, we're either going to cut you or we can put you on IR and you can still make money with us and get a ring. Like that was it. That was it. Look, he's got no one to blame but himself, man. The Chiefs have given that guy plenty of opportunities. His rookie season, okay, he was behind Juju and MVS and Kelsey, obviously your primary pass catcher. So, I mean, and Jerick McKinnon was getting a lot of passes that year as well. So I can understand Sky Moore not contributing that much as a rookie. Last year was his year, man, and he did not live up to the hype. Would rather get a loss and go undefeated in the playoffs. Yeah, that's my thing. Yeah, a lot of you guys not interested in in going undefeated. See, this is my thing, Tressa. That's my scare. That's the thing I'm scared of. If you go undefeated into the playoffs, and not that Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes are ever going to take any team lightly, you can still not take a team lightly, but maybe have overconfidence in a game. I do believe. That'd be my biggest fear going undefeated into a postseason, which again, I don't think is happening. You're gonna lose. I think the Buffalo game could be a loss. I do. Which I'd be okay with that. As long as you can keep a gap between yourself and Buffalo. If the Chiefs can win that one, that would be enormous. And if the Texans could lose one more, between now until the time the Chiefs and Texans play in week 16, that would be huge as well. But if the Chiefs can beat Buffalo, I would be very confident in crowning the Chiefs with the number 1 seed. Obviously unofficially, but you get the idea. But anyway, I do expect a loss or two. And then there's going to be a stupid one that you shouldn't lose, but you will lose. That'll happen. Happens to every team. So yeah, a lot of you guys don't care about the undefeated season. Okay. No one really cares. It would be great to go undefeated. I think that's kind of either people are not expecting it or they don't really care for it because they don't expect it. And if it happens, cool. I just don't know if I just get scared with the overconfidence with that kind of thing. I really do. I think that's when you could see some complacency somewhere on this team, and that's never anything you want. Not to say this team would ever take any game lightly, especially in January and February, but you just don't want to run that risk. You learn a lot more from your losses than you do from your wins. Think about just think about life in general. Like you learn more from your bad days than you do your good days, which is natural. That's human nature. Blake says a pissed off, motivated Chiefs team is a deadly Chiefs team. I wouldn't be surprised if Pat destroys the Raiders for their class of sack at training camp. Yeah, I mean they're certainly going to deal with that. By the way, I thought it was funny. Andy Reid was trying to explain. Oh yeah, he's got to get that taken care of. Okay, you think we believe you? I mean, listen, Kadarius Toney even called out his own training staff with that whole thing. So, and then he says, "No, I was talking about the Giants." It was a live stream, buddy. Come on. The Raiders think they have a chance this week. The Raiders always think they have a chance. Every year is a Raiders year, right? It's funny because all the Raiders fans who said Antonio Pierce was going to turn this team around and were excited when he got hired, they already want him fired. I told you guys this was going to happen. The same people in Vegas, all the Raider Nation who are hyping up AP are going to be the same ones calling for his job. I just didn't expect it to be this quick. But that's Raider Nation for you. That's right. That is good old Raider Nation for you. It's gonna be Mahomes that does the puppet celebration, probably. Probably. Because what did he do? Didn't he do the whole like when the Bears passed on him for Trubisky and then he threw a touchdown against him? Well, doing the counting thing like 1, 2, 3, and then the 10. I mean, listen, he could have been counting anything. He could have been counting his total touchdowns for the year, for all I know. But yeah, and that was also a younger Mahomes too. Maybe he doesn't really give a shit about that kind of thing. Listen, this guy deals with, and I understand with his brother and his dad, with some of the things they've gotten in trouble with. That it's not wrong to criticize their legal run-ins. But in general, with Patrick's family, especially his wife, dude, that guy deals with his wife getting attacked on a daily basis. Travis Kelce's girlfriend, I mean, she, as much as she's getting a lot of love, she's also getting a lot of hate out there. So if you can continue to keep winning while you're dealing with that side of things, dude, I don't think Patrick, like calling Patrick a bitch and using the puppet and all that stuff, I don't think he gives a damn that much. Now, is he going to stick it to them? Yeah, absolutely. You don't get to just say all those things and get away with it. The recipe and the puppet and the name calling, no, you're still going to suffer the consequences for it. Sky less core muscle injury was from diving for the pass and letting the ball out. Something that core muscle injury, man, that caused the drops. That's what it was. They finally figured it out. Need more Brian Cook picks? I would love more Brian Cook picks. Brian Cook, I think Brian Cook has been really underrated. I think both chief safeties are really underrated. I do. I really do. And I know Justin Reed didn't have the best game last week against George Kittle. It's George Kittle for crying out loud. Still, I thought, I think Reed is having a really good season. And I think Reed's been great his entire time in Kansas City. Again, the thing about this defense, this is not a defense that's statistically thriving, especially this year. They don't have like a high sack total, not a high forced turnover total, though they did have 3 last game. This is a team that's doing everything that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, getting those stops, not allowing a lot of points. That's what the Chiefs defense is doing more than anything else. And that's always the most important thing from your defense. If you're not getting the turnovers and the sacks, and they're not getting a lot of those, do the next best thing. Hopefully they can build off that 49ers game and get more interceptions in this one. Certainly would expect that when your quarterback's Gardner Minshew. The only pass catcher I even fear is Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is a great football player. He's second in the NFL in receptions and 8th in receiving yards. Now, when that's your only pass catcher, especially considering Devontae Adams before the trade wasn't playing a couple of games because of his injury, sounds like it's a one-man show in Vegas. The only good player on that Vegas team is Brock Bowers on offense, and the only player on defense who's really good for them is Crosby. They paid Christian Wilkins a lot of money, and he's hurt right now, so they don't have a lot of things to really be proud of. And by the way, their offensive tackles terrible. Colton Miller has allowed 6 sacks. That's tied for the most. That's their left tackle. Is it their left tackle or their right tackle? Their left tackle. And he's expected to go up against FAU. So I would expect a big game from FAU and Karlaftis. I think they can remind themselves of the Patriots when they lost the only game, the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's the thing. Like you go undefeated. Okay, cool. Then, one loss. That's it. So I don't know, man. I don't really want to go undefeated. Like, I don't want to lose. I'm not saying, hey, let's lose a game. But I don't know. The undefeated part just scares me a little bit. We have around a 3-game lead on the Broncos. Yeah, I think you might be right about that, Kyle. All I care is beating the Raiders twice this year. I think that's happening. Yeah, I mean, listen, the Chiefs far from have played their best football. Far from it. And they're the best team in the league right now, 6-0. No one better. And by the way, 2-game lead in the conference. Wife's leaving me because she thinks I'm obsessed with astronomy. What planet is she on? Huh? I don't know what that has to do with anything, but thanks for sharing, Matthew. We're going to lap that stadium. I see what you did there, Josh. Suffering a regular season loss is a way to refocus and dial in. I don't care about going undefeated. Yeah, that's been a big point in our discussion today. Knowing our luck, we'll beat them in Vegas and get stomped in KC. Probably. I mean, that would happen. I doubt it, though. I doubt. I mean, come on. We're running on the Black Friday. I'm calling that Red Friday, but it is on Black Friday. Do you think Marquise Brown will sign another contract? I hope so. I've been saying this for a while. I hope this is not Hollywood Brown. I like how you call him Marquise, by the way. I hope this is not Hollywood's only season. I think there's so much more he can really do on a team like the Chiefs. Because I know Rice is going to be suspended too for anywhere from 4 to 8 games next year. Xavier Worthy coming back. Obviously, he's on his first year of his rookie deal. Man, I don't know what's going to happen with DeAndre next year either. You have so many talented wide receivers on this team right now, and maybe DeAndre's not in his prime anymore, but he can still play. Like, that dude's good. I hope there's some way, somehow you keep these receivers here. Dude, that's huge. I don't think Hollywood's even in a really big position to demand a lot of money either. Like, they could probably get him for a cheap deal. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Chiefs can do. Again, I know the injuries and the risk there, but maybe that's why you go and maybe draft another receiver, not in the first round, but probably second or third. If the NFL draft started today, I would say the Chiefs have to get an offensive tackle. That's number one. No question about it. I'm going to read a few more questions and then get out of here. Travis has been doing so many extracurricular Hollywood shows and commercials. It's no wonder he's not playing his best. I don't think that's really the reason. I mean, listen, that's the off season. The off season, you're doing all kinds of things. I mean, listen, is he doing a lot of that stuff? Yes, but it's not like he's skipping practice to do all those things. He's not. He does his Hollywood stuff whenever it's time to do his Hollywood stuff. Listen, in the offseason, players, they commit a lot of time to doing things that they want to work in their craft. Like, I know Tamba Hali was doing a lot of music in his offseason when the Chiefs didn't have OTAs or training camp. He also was doing a lot of jiu-jitsu also whenever it was the offseason. He had time to do all of that. Things that are not related to football, although the jiu-jitsu did help him with football in a way. But, I mean, I still think, Travis is going to be fine. Yeah, he traveled probably more last offseason than he did any other, but it's the offseason. Green Bay tight end stole the Yak title from Rasheed. Yeah, Rasheed was dominating this year. He really was. Having Hopkins on the field makes it tough on other defenses. Just play another player they have to block. Yeah, that's what a lot of these defenses have to be ready for, because Patrick Mahomes is going to turn it up. This is not going to last forever. It's almost like when KU basketball loses like rarely back-to-back games, that's not going to be how their season ends. They'll figure it out more times than not. We've seen that a couple times in the past before. Yeah, to my understanding, it's nothing serious. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Yeah, that's the speculation. I don't know. You still got to make sure you have some money for the remainder of the year to have guys, elevate them from the practice squad and get guys off the street to sign, because injuries are going to happen as the season goes on. Yeah, Spags has been great this year. He really has. That's the thing, Matthew. Like, and I don't like going into hypotheticals too much. But that is the unfortunate part of this season, is there was so much hype with this offense. There really was. And unfortunately, injury after injury, it's like, man, where does it stop? But hey, Chiefs aren't making any excuses. They're not feeling sorry for themselves. They're still going out there winning football games, and that's all that matters right now. So I expect them to make it 7-0. All right. Hey, reminder, Sunday morning. I think we're going to do this a little earlier than expected on Sunday morning, just to kind of see how it goes. But we will do the pregame live chat Sunday morning. Don't know exactly when, but just make sure you have your notifications turned on for both Facebook and YouTube, and you'll be notified as soon as we go live. Let me just make sure. Did we get a notification for this live stream? Yes, no, maybe. How many minutes have we been on for? 30, almost 35 minutes. I did not get a YouTube notification. That's not good. Okay. I don't know why, but yeah, I didn't get a YouTube notification there. Hopefully you guys did. So make sure you turn on the notifications on Facebook and YouTube, because I know for sure with YouTube, if you have those turned on, you'll be informed as soon as we go live. So that way you'll know. Again, I don't know exactly when we're going to do the morning pregame live chat, but we will do that at some point Sunday morning. And then Sunday at halftime, we will do our halftime live stream. And then after the game, we will do the Chief Zone podcast live post game. I want to take your video calls, so make sure you guys turn on your cameras, your audio, video, whatever you got to do on your phone, laptop, iPad, whatever it is you want to call in with. We will have that ready. So please make sure you guys tune in to the Chiefs Zone after Sunday's game, when the Chiefs beat the Raiders and improve to 7-0 on the season. All right, guys, my name is Farzin Vasugian. Thank you for joining me for this Red Friday live chat. I'm going to get out of here. Hey, please continue sharing all the content, the videos, the reels, the podcasts, all of that stuff. You guys have been doing such a great job with all of that. The content's getting pushed out there. That helps with the algorithm. So thank you for doing that, all of you. I really do appreciate everyone for the support on this podcast and this page. So thank you guys for all of that. All right, I'm out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Red Friday.